While biobanks have demonstrated their feasibility and utility in the current research environment, questions related to their costs and cost-effectiveness remain. The underlying challenge is to secure continuing funding for the biobanking enterprise and ensure their sustainability or current and future collections will be curtailed, as is already the case. We will look here at human tissue biobanks. In the context of biobanks, sustainability has been defined as the endurance of systems and processes and has been grouped in 3 dimensions: financial, operational, and social. Financial sustainability is the ability of a biobank to secure stable financial resources. Operational sustainability is the ability to standardize procedures and processes. And social sustainability relates to governance and trust. In this talk, we will focus only on financial sustainability. The operational and social dimensions have been covered in the video on governance of biobanks. The financial sustainability of biobanks is complicated by the market distortions of the activity. It is important here to stress that the activity of human sample biobanking is not a commercial or business activity. Samples are donated to a biobank by human beings with no expectation of financial reward and an understanding that these samples will not be sold. Samples are expected to be shared with research projects for generation of knowledge or development of therapeutic or diagnostic products. But the exact purpose at the time of storage is unknown. The use of terms such as price, income, return, margin, or profit are conveniences and in no way imply a trade in samples altruistically donated to further science. In the past, many publicly funded biobanks collected samples and data with an altruistic focus, but without any particular objective or goal. Thus, not all samples are characterized, and often the samples do not meet quality standards for collection and storage. In other cases, especially in the case of neglected tropical diseases, there is unfortunately very little demand for samples from researchers, even when well-characterized samples exist. This has resulted in a massive oversupply of samples in stock, and biobanks struggle to cover costs related to storage and maintenance. Some biobanks are now giving away samples and data at no cost, as the revenues generated by the distribution of samples is immaterial compared to costs of maintaining the samples. To the writer's knowledge, there is no biobank which is self-sustainable, covering all its costs by income received from distributing samples, let alone returning a financial contribution. Biobanks therefore need focused actions and external funding, subsidies, to survive. The focus should be 2: defining the goal of the biobank, focusing operations to minimize costs, providing value-added services where these can contribute to the costs, collaborating with other biobanks to ensure visibility of collections, promoting the activity as a common good meriting subsidy. The point of defining the goal is to clarify the strategy and facilitate the next steps. These steps should be informed by the voice of the customer, the researchers, through surveys or direct engagement with them. What do researchers, the customers, value? A biobank can be defined in terms of disease focus, data annotations, longitudinal sampling, or any dimension which corresponds to a real-world need, gives the collections meaning, and most importantly, identifies what is excluded. Once the goal of the biobank has been established, the relevance of the collections and services offered can be assessed and adjusted. Keeping in mind that health research has finite resources and research priorities often change, decisions should be made to discard low priority, low quality, and high maintenance specimens. Other actions to minimize costs should also be sought. While biobanks do not and should not sell human biological materials, but the services they provide and the financial cost of maintaining the samples can be recuperated from the sample recipient. Value-added services or characterization data can enhance the collection and data attractiveness. Services would clearly need to be profitable, and characterization as an investment would need to provide realizable value to customers. In one of the other modules, we have discussed Nagoya and the value of class permits, blanket permits from a competent national authority which document that the provider has received good and valuable consideration, and therefore that genetic resources can be used by third parties without the need for further access and benefit-sharing negotiations. If permits can be obtained for collections which obviate the need for users to obtain a permit from the provider, this can be a great value to the user. Though not directly part of the provision of samples, but based on the same knowledge set, biobanks often provide the service of ensuring the regulatory compliance of all the collections of the institution of which it is a part. For collections to be used, they must be marketed. One way to do this is to collaborate with other biobanks in virtual biobank networks, public domain databases of collections which can be searched by researchers for samples corresponding to their needs. Find, for example, runs such a network at arm's length to the benefit of the participant biobanks. A clearly defined biobank strategy, an optimized offer, a marketing plan, and costs under control allow a convincing argument to be made to funding agencies to support the work. This is not easy, as funding a biobank is not as appealing as funding new research. But governments and regions often see biobanks as a key research infrastructure component and support them as part of a wider strategy to attract future research programs. In conclusion, biobanks are rarely self-sustaining, but measures can be taken to improve the sustainability and render the venture more attractive to funding agencies who can see the biobank as a component of their wider plan.